Welcome back to TYT Sports, everybody. Jason and my guest today, we've had a revolving seat of guests. Last week we had a J.R. Jackson on who works at TYT. We had Brett Ertlich, and now we have the Jacque Slade.
I like
a.k.a. Cousteau. You know him. You guys have seen him on the channel multiple times before. The sneaker storylines for 2016-2017 NBA season. It comes from a complex article that was written a little bit ago, so it's a little outdated, but there's some interesting talking points from it that we can discuss here. The thing that I wanted to mention, though, about the difference where I find soccer, to make it easier, soccer cleats in America versus like NBA shoes is you can't really wear Neymar's cleats anywhere, or Messi's cleats, or the Predators. I think that's a big designer brand for them. Like, you're not going to see people like going to the a wedding rocking those, but you might see a bunch of groomsmen wearing Air Jordans.
Absolutely.
Which is a thing. That's what people do. Chuck Taylors too, they do that. So you're not going to see. I mean, that would be a very strange. Unless you're doing it on the turf. And you need
that's cool. Or you could do they do turf versions.
But it's not the same.
It's just not the same.
Like shoe culture in America, especially basketball, it's enormous. There's a sneaker con, which I think you've been to.
Yes, I have.
And there's conventions in LA, in New York, in Chicago, in Miami, in the biggest cities, and it's taken over. I mean, I'm a casual fan, and I have like one pair of Kobe's, and then one beat up pair of Kobe's that I used to play basketball in, and a new pair of Air Jordan, and that's like it. But my friend, you have.
I have a lot.
Like 4 shoes.
I have a lot. Yeah, I have like 4 or 5 pair.
Well, I remember disappointing Jacque because I went back and forth. I said, Jacque, there's a Neymar, first ever Neymar's Air Jordan. It just seems like something I want to own.
Yeah.
Maybe if I don't even wear, I just want it. And Jacque sends me this email. I'd be like, all right, at this time you got to be here, and then at this time you go there. And the next morning it's like 10:30 a.m. He goes, did you get him? Were you up? I go, I slept right through. He goes, you disappoint me, Jason.
Because I knew that at that point it was
gone.
It was gone.
You go on eBay, it's like $300. I'm like, nah. Yeah. But they're awesome if you do check them out. I'm sure the first of many because they sold quickly. Neymar by Jordan style sneaks. All right, so a couple of the headlines here that I'm just going to kind of throw to you, and feel free to take them as you wish.
Okay.
One of them has to do with Nike, and it's a retro LeBron signature line. Has this happened? Will it happen? What's the deal going forward?
So there's a big retro culture in sneakers.
Yes,
so a lot of people that were born in or that wanted shoes in like the 90s and early 2000s, they're looking for a lot of shoes to come back. And with LeBron, Nike has not done that yet. So LeBron's on his upcoming to his 14th shoe. And Nike hasn't been retroing his old sneakers. So
that makes sense.
That first sneaker that he came out with when he debuted in the NBA, like people want that sneaker now. But unfortunately,
you can't get it.
They cannot get it. They can get it, but it's very, very expensive.
Interesting.
But Nike isn't re-releasing those, and so like there's a big, let's say, a groundswell of support for Nike.
So the hype is building.
Yes, and especially with like LeBron winning the championship last year.
Yeah.
So like all of that kind of helps build into his aura, into who he is, and so people want a piece of that.
Here's my take on LeBron sneakers. I understand why they sell. I understand that, especially their style of shoe, if you play too, and if you play, pick up whatever you're doing, if you're playing league basketball, if you're good enough to play in college, you're playing at the NBA level. Like, for a big man kind of shoe, it's probably one of the better looking big man kind of shoes. Like, LeBron obviously sells sneak because he's LeBron James, but we've done this before. Like, point guards and shooting guards sell shoes far better than any big man usually does.
Absolutely.
Tim Duncan ain't going to sell shoes like James Harden.
Right.
Is Tim Duncan better than James Harden career? It's hard to compare positions, but yes.
But yes.
Do you have to even have that argument? Like Kevin Garnett, like it's different, right? But so with LeBron shoe, I wouldn't wear them, but I understand when I see them on other people. Like if you're a big guy, I understand why you'd want that shoe.
Yeah, I mean LeBron's shoe is technically a big man shoe. I mean, he's 6'9", right? I believe.
But it's also a bulky shoe. He's like 6'9", 2. He's not from here.
Right.
He's not from Earth.
He's a different
other planets.
He's built different than most of us. And then I think, the problem with, I wouldn't say the problem with LeBron shoes. The challenge with LeBron shoes is you have to create something that can withstand the force of a 6'9", 2 whatever LeBron is sort of shoe. But at the same time, there's 5, 6-year-olds that want LeBron shoes, as well as 10, 12-year-olds and 20 and 21-year-olds. So like you have to make something that can kind of work with all of those, but still make sure it fits to LeBron's style, which
Exactly.
is definitely the challenge. So that's why oftentimes LeBron shoes do seem a bit bulkier and do seem a bit bigger than the regular basketball shoe.
I do think that's a good point, because I do think that the shoe does match the style of player. So one of the videos you did when you were interviewing Kevin Durant and you were doing his KD9s, I think it was, when they came out, and I found it amazing because I never knew why the bottom of his shoe, the toe, is split.
Yes.
And as you were discussing in that video, it's because KD said himself he wanted a shoe because he plays on his toes a lot, especially with his shot. And then you start watching and you go, yeah, of course KD's not lying about that. Why would he be lying about that? Like,
right.
He knows what he's doing. But it started to become abundantly clear why the shoe is designed that way. And then you kind of look at and it does say something about that. Like Damian Lillard, his new, the all red, fire.
Yeah, it's so good. Did you know the story behind that shoe?
No, but please enlighten me.
It's really tough. So when he was playing AAU ball, if they were late to practice, his coach would make them hold bricks out like with their arms stretched out like this.
Seriously?
Yeah. And so like if they were late, I don't know how long they had to do it, but they literally had to grab bricks and hold bricks if they were late or if they did something wrong in practice or whatever the case may be. And so those shoes were made to be red as kind of like, because that's something that Damian, obviously, you're going to remember
that forever.
yeah, forever.
Seriously.
If you're late to practice. So yeah, that's why that particular colorway is that deep red. So don't be late to practice.
Don't be late to practice. It also makes sense why he's so clutch in the fourth quarter. He probably had the whole bricks if you missed his shots. And they're like, I will never miss in the fourth quarter.
Right.
Not when it matters. Yeah. All right, let's get into one more. So here's one that I don't believe. It says, can Nike basketball bounce back? Now, here's the problem I have with that. I don't think Nike basketball is really doing that bad because it's Nike.
Right.
Like, where's Nike going? It's like saying, like, well, Apple's stock is down. It's Apple. Where are they going? Google's search engine traffic is low. What, Yahoo's going to beat them? Like, come on. Let's be real. Now, I'm obviously understanding that there's, mentioning guys like Damian Lillard, who are Adidas, if I'm correct, and James Harden, they've made a big push, and Under Armour's made a big push. But we're still talking about Nike overall. Is this something to be concerned about going forward, or you think that they will be, of course, okay?
No, I don't think concern is necessarily the right word. I think it's something to take notice of.
Okay.
That these other brands are definitely making their own lane and making their own way. Nike was such a dominant force for so long that
were they the only force?
Yeah, I mean, really,
for a little bit,
for a while, it was Nike or Jordan, which is basically the same
subsidiary
company. Yeah, they're the same company. So they ruled the basketball world for a very long time. I mean, there's been spurts of other people. I mean, if you really think back, it's been since like the early 90s that Nike basketball has basically run the gambit of basketball shoes. There were spurts like Iverson, so Reebok got a little bit of shine.
Those originals are sick.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
But that was like a standout, and it was like, oh, cool. Like 2 out of 10 kids would be like, I'm gonna get those so I can be like AI. Well, 8 of the other 10 kids are like, I'm gonna go dunk like Jordan. So
Right.
You take your ass. You enjoy.
You had Tracy McGrady's stuff, then you had Kobe when he was with Adidas, and like you had these brief moments or these flashes of other brands. But for the most part, it's been Nike. And so that when they say, can Nike basketball bounce back, I think they're basically saying
they're doing fine.
Can Nike destroy everyone again? Which I mean, I don't think people should look at it that way. It's probably better that we have some different competition coming in with the Hardens and the Lillards and the Currys and that coming in.